Good morning 5C. Today is the 24th of June. Today is Wednesday. Okay, so today we'll be going through yesterday's homework, page 3 and 4 of your water SIN. Okay, so we have done the melting of ice cube experiment when we were in school. So today we'll be looking deeper into the process of melting. So from yesterday's lesson, you have gone through all the videos about heat loss and heat gain and how the states of water can change from one to another by either gaining heat or losing heat. So yesterday was just focusing on heat gain, how ice can gain heat from the surrounding, changing its state from solid to liquid. Okay, so yesterday was just focused on one process called melting, and you're supposed to complete your page 3 and page 4 of your SIN. All right, so thank you, Nurain. I saw your work. Very well done. At least you try. Some answers are correct, which is good. That means you understand parts of it. All right. So before I go on, I just want you to know that I mentioned about the review test. The review test will be happening uh, next Tuesday when you come back. Okay, so I say again, the review test on Tuesday. You will cover exactly the same topics as you have did in term 1, plant transport system, air and respiratory system, and then human circulatory system. Totally same topics. We will not be testing you electricity. We'll be saving it for the next test. Okay, so with that, let's go through your SIN yesterday. That was your homework after going through the lesson. So you know that by now there are 3 states of water. Same thing in P4. We also have learned about this. We know that the 3 states of water, or basically 3 states of matter, is solid, liquid, and gaseous state. Okay, try to use the word gaseous instead of gas. Okay, the EOUS must be there. Of course, for foundation, I don't think we will penalize you, but try to use the correct word. Okay, gaseous state and gas state are the same, theoretically speaking, but just that the proper word to use is gaseous state. Okay, so let's look at the examples of solid, liquid, and gas state of water. So we know that ice and snow are examples of water in the solid state. Okay, so solid is like your table and chair, definite shape, definite volume. Okay, ice and snow are examples of water in solid state. The water we drink from our water bottle is in the liquid state. Okay, has a definite volume but no definite shape. You can shake the bottle, you realize the water takes a different shape every time. And then water vapor or steam are examples of water in the gaseous state. That means they are in the gas state. All right, so water can exist in 3 states: solid, liquid, and gas, and you know examples of each of them. Okay, let's go to the next part. How does water change its temperature and state? The temperature of water can change. The state of water can go from solid to liquid to gas, or from gas to liquid to solid back again. And in order to do that, it can do it by gaining heat or losing heat. Okay, so for example, I take the ice out from the freezer, which we did that the other day when we were in school. When the ice is in the open, in the classroom, for example, it starts to gain heat from your hand or from the surrounding air. And as it gains heat, the temperature increases. It starts to change in state from solid to liquid. When you gain heat, 3 things can happen to matter: temperature increase, it undergoes a change in state, or it can expand, like what you learned last year in P4. Okay, same thing when you lose heat, 3 things can happen at the same time also. Temperature decreases, it undergoes a change in state, like freezing from liquid to solid. It can also contract. Okay, so you need to know when to use, you need to know when to expect what to happen. Okay, in a sense. So by gaining heat or losing heat, you can change the temperature of water. You can also change the state, either through melting, through freezing, through boiling, through condensation or condensing, or through evaporation. Okay, so we'll look at freezing on Friday, so don't do this part, I crossed out for you already. So let's go on to the page 4. Okay, page 4 is about melting, so please highlight. Melting is from solid to liquid. Okay, like what we did in school that day, from a solid ice cube to become liquid water on our hands. Okay, water in the solid state, we can call it ice because that's what we use in school. Okay, so water in the solid state, we call it ice or snow. Okay, in particular we call it ice because we use that in school. It can change into liquid state, which is water, liquid water. Okay, it can change into liquid water when it is heated. Okay, when it is heated. Okay, so the other day we didn't like put a fire under our ice, but what happens that the heat from the surrounding air actually melts the ice cube. The heat from our hands actually melt the ice cube. So when we put the ice cube in our hands, the ice cube actually gain heat. And when the ice cube gain heat, it increases its temperature. It undergoes a change in state from solid to liquid, and that process we call it melting. All right. So this is what we have done that day. When ice is taken out from a freezer, it gains heat first. So tell me what happens to it first. Gain heat or lose heat? Before you tell me, is it melting, is it freezing, is it boiling, so on and so forth. Tell me, is it gaining heat or losing heat first? So when I take out from the freezer, from the fridge, it gains heat. The temperature will increase. Okay, the temperature increase. Once you take it out, once it starts to gain heat, temperature will increase. And once the temperature of the ice increases to 0 degrees, because in the freezer it's actually very cold. Okay, in the freezer it's actually minus 10, minus 15 degrees Celsius. Once you take the ice cube out from the freezer, the temperature will start to increase. And once it increases to 0 degrees Celsius, the ice will change into water. And this is what we call melting. Okay, so this process is called melting. Okay, um so the temperature is okay. The next thing that I did not talk about, which I will talk about now, and it was mentioned in the lesson yesterday, the temperature at which ice melts, pure ice. Okay, the temperature at which pure ice melts, that means change from a solid to a liquid state, okay, is actually 0 degrees Celsius. This number is very important. Pure ice melts at 0 degrees Celsius. If the ice is at minus 10 degrees Celsius, minus 5 degrees Celsius, or even minus 1 degree Celsius, it will not melt. Okay, it just increase in temperature. However, once it hits 0 degrees, or once it goes beyond 0 degrees Celsius, it will start to melt. So this temperature is what we call the melting point of ice. Because when the ice reaches this temperature, it will start to melt. Okay, so melting and point. Okay, melting point. Okay, so like what I said just now, if the ice is at minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1 degree Celsius, it will still stay as a solid. However, once it hits 0 degrees Celsius, or once it goes beyond 0 degrees Celsius, like 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree, 5 degrees Celsius, it will start to melt. And something very special about the melting process, and we will demonstrate it on Friday, or we will demonstrate it when you come back to school, is that when it melts, the temperature will remain constant at 0 degrees Celsius. Okay, so when the ice is melting, the temperature will stay the same. Only when all the ice melts, the whole ice melt finish become liquid water, then the temperature of liquid water will start to increase to 1 degrees, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, so on and so forth. But when the ice is melting, the temperature of the ice stays the same until the whole ice melts finish, become water, then the temperature of water will start increasing. All right, so a few things you learn over here. You learn that melting is a process, is a is a process where heat is gained from the surrounding or from somewhere else. So when so during melting, the solid ice gains heat from the surrounding, and then the temperature increases, and once it reach 0 degrees Celsius or beyond, it will start to melt, changing from solid to liquid state. Okay, so the temperature you learn here is that it is 0 degrees Celsius for ice to melt or beyond, and that 0 degrees Celsius is what we call melting point, because only at that point ice starts to melt. Ice doesn't melt when it's below that point, like minus 1, minus 2 degrees Celsius. Ice will only melt at 0 degrees Celsius or beyond, like 1 degree Celsius, so on and so forth. Okay, and as ice melts, the temperature will stay at 0 degrees Celsius all the way until it melts finish, become liquid water. Then the temperature will increase again. Right, so so make sure you finish up your corrections for page 3 and page 4. I'll see you on Friday. We'll go through a little bit on freezing on Friday. Okay, so with that, make sure you study for a review test. It's going to happen next Tuesday when you come back. Okay, see you on Friday.